Cheers! When you say it, you feel good. And you feel happy. Awesome hats and visors. Happy handles for your paddle. Cheers Pickleball has it all and more in store. Co-founder Evan joins me on the court. It's the Pickle with Mickle interview series. 0, 0, start. The only way to start this interview is cheers. Evan, how are you today? I really appreciate you making some time. I'm happy to have you on the court with me, as I like to say. First of all, happy Wednesday. We were going to get together a little week ago, but you know what? Life happens. And so I've got to ask, everybody recovered from a little bout of, was it just some summer flu, let's say? Nothing that rhymes with, vid?
Yeah, everybody's good. Thank you for asking, and thanks for having me on. I have 2 little girls, and so daycare is just like a giant petri dish.
Absolutely. I remember, my boys are older now, but I remember, when they're younger and you've got to drop them off somewhere. Heck, you drop them off at school and it's just a viral infection zone waiting to happen. And it's always been like that, but glad that everybody's feeling better because now you're on the court with me, Pickle with Mickle interview series. Evan, let me make sure I say your last name correct. Tepper?
That's it. You got it.
Perfect. From Cheers Pickleball, we got a lot to talk about. Everything that's happening with Cheers. First thing I wanted to get to, though, Evan, as I was scrolling around the website, you've got your own podcast. Now, is that your passion? Was this a shared passion between you and your father? Let's talk a little bit about it, if you don't mind. The Good Get podcast. I got to make sure I have that right. How long have you been doing that? That's cool.
Yeah, so thanks for asking. So we actually started last fall and recorded, 4 or 5 interviews, and then took a little bit of a break and then relaunched it again this summer. I think first and foremost, I love listening to podcasts. I listen to like a variety of things, everything from like business and news to sort of murder mysteries. It kind of just depends on what I'm doing. But one of the things that I like are in that mix are short podcasts, so that I can, if I'm running an errand or doing something, I can knock that podcast out like on my way there and back. And so I thought maybe we should do something like that. That's just a touch different than what other folks are doing. So keep it short, format, interview style, very much like this, lighthearted, just like our brand. And then the aim wasn't really to get technical.
Okay.
With pickleball, we're not talking about paddle weights and things like that. We're more talking about the people and the culture and what it is like that pickleball, like how it is or why it is that pickleball brings so much joy to people's lives.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a perfect blueprint. It sounds very similar to what's happening right here on the Pickle with Mickle interview series. And it's also a good segue, since you are a podcast listener. Did you listen to the Mickle Pod before you came on this show? It's a quick hitting, about a 20-minute list.
I have. Yeah, I've picked up a couple of them. So they're like, it's in my rotation now.
That's cool. That is awesome. Yeah. And so, back to how you kind of described that you put yours together. When I started doing mine, I thought there's a lot of sports podcasts out there before I'd even found pickleball, but I wanted to keep it short. And I always had an idea of doing interviews, which I would then be able to expand. And, because I like to bring pickleball to the people through pickleball people like yourself, because this sport it's a connector. We're able here to talk to it from the business side, right? And that entrepreneurial vision, what brought on this idea of Cheers Pickleball, and how do we continue to move forward? We're going to get into all this, but it's so amazing, this Pickleverse that we're in. And let me ask you this, early signs of the Picklepocalypse, Evan. Did you see that Pickle Mall here in Tempe abruptly, boom, lease pulled, they're shut down?
I did not see that. No. I'm curious what happened. Was it the landlord released the space?
Well, here's where we can go a little conspiracy theory. So apparently what I've heard and from reliable sources is there's a retailer that's going to move into space. First of all, not making a lot of sense, because it's the retailers that bailed out of there that made it so attractive for something like Pickle Mall to come in. Apparently, They want more mall traffic because pickle mall, you come in from the outside. There's no access from the mall. Again, to me, makes sense because you just want people to go in and play pickleball. Conspiracy theory spinning in this head is Pickler is another one of these pickle places that's coming here in town, and they're supposed to be opening in Tempe. You can see things on the socials of them breaking ground at their facility, but who's to say they just didn't scratch a bigger check to the folks that run Arizona Mills? Pickle Mall's out. Here comes Pickler. We'll see what happens. It's all unraveling. It all just came down yesterday, and a big shock to a lot of people. I was going to play in a tournament there in like 3 weeks, and so now they're scrambling to figure out where they're going to put this MLP. It's a minor league MLP tournament event. I mean, it's a cool deal.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't think the growth of pickleball has slowed. There's probably just some natural attrition with people who start playing the sport and like, I enjoy it, but it's not my thing. But I think the people who are hooked and who have been hooked, I don't see attrition there. So, and this is just, one guy's observation and based on a little bit of data that, that I'm sure you see that tends to be outdated. But yeah, I don't think it's for lack of people playing pickleball that these places are closing. But TBD, it's not that different from what we've seen here. And I'm in Minneapolis, but not that different from what we've seen in like the craft brew scene. So we had so many breweries
parallel
just pop
that.
up
That's
on the map.
Very interesting, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and now, I don't know why some of them are closed, but we've seen a handful close and change strategies. One of the most popular ones closed their tap room, is continuing to distribute, and then are opening up a tap room like an hour from Minneapolis. So pretty small town. But, again, like I have no idea why I could speculate and so forth. But maybe like the model's changing. So who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I like to go with rampant conspiracy theories, wild speculations that another company's coming in there, throwing some more money out. Now you got to go somewhere else because I think the model's pretty sustainable. There were people at Pickle Mall all the time. They had good leagues. Now I play a lot at center court now, and that was my next question for you. What is the go-to? Is there a go-to kind of a pickle place out there? Is there a Chicken and Pickle in Minneapolis yet? I don't think there is, but what kind of, is there like an indoor place?
Yeah, there's a handful of indoor places cropping up. Everything from sort of the informal, right?
Okay.
And I think we see this in a lot of communities, like the YMCA playing on the hardwood floors, to the purpose-built places, to former Bed Bath and Beyonds that have been converted, and I don't know, pickle places in light industrial spaces,
yes,
and so forth. You probably recognize this, and it's part of the inspiration for the name Cheers, right? The old TV show where everybody knows your name.
Right.
You start showing up at the same courts, the same days, the same times, and pretty much, like, without a doubt, everybody will know your name before long.
That's right. And we didn't even plan these perfect segues, how you have a podcast, you did listen to mine, which I appreciate. And so now we can jump right into this awesome thing that's Cheers. Talking about that a little more. You said we started this about a year or so ago, maybe two. The ideas were flying around there. Did the name come first? Take me back. I always like to go back to how this started, because this is a shared vision with you and your dad, right? Which is also pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. So I'll answer that part first. So my dad's retired corporate guy, and he grew up working. He's been working since he was 13 and never had a break through school. Is he a young guy?
No, 3M guy.
He's pretty young.
Out there in Minnesota?
He's a 3M guy, yeah. Yep, he's a 3M guy, 37 years. So anyways, all he knows is work. And and so when I was launching this and thinking about this, he was really interested in being involved, and he finds some of the aspects of pickleball that I really love, right? Like the social network that you build so quickly, how sort of genuine the people are, and so forth. All of that, we sort of really aligned and gravitated towards the sport on. He's all, like, growing up, we had a ping pong table, always killed me in ping pong. I don't know that I ever won, But now we're on a bigger court, and age does make a little bit of a difference and so forth. But we're both really still enjoying the sport. We're working together has been great. It's not without its challenges, but it's just like a really great shared experience. And so the vision or the idea for the business really started sort of with the boom in popularity, right? And so you see this sport just exploding in growth, and you think to yourself, oh, there's going to be hundreds of businesses that come out of this, whether it's new pickleball leagues, software that organizes tournaments, commercial real estate that is turning over, whatever, all of those
pickle places.
And that was just sort of like a passing thought that I had. Yeah. And so like that was a bit of a passing thought. And then I just sort of realized one day that the things that people were wearing on the court, whether it's like their hat or their shorts and, and their shoes, and maybe less so shoes, but, the things that people were wearing just tended to be carryover from something else, some other sort of athletic endeavor, whether that's like running or going to the gym and what have you. So people wearing Nike, Lululemon, Under Armour, so on and so forth. And so that was like sort of the first inkling, like, there's not really a brand here that is, stepping up and offering pickleball players a brand that sort of reflects their values and their love of the sport, and sort of shares intrinsically and externally what it is that they value and enjoy about being part of the community.
Awesome.
And so, whenever you get involved in a new sport, whether it's golf or mountain biking, there's this quote unquote, and I'm stealing this from my wife, but there's a uniform. So when I go play golf, my wife says, you got to put on your golf uniform. Right. And it's no different from any other hobby or sport.
I think you just put it perfectly, because yes, right. Well, when I go play, I'm going to play golf on Sunday, right? I'm going to have on a golf shirt, going to have on my golf shorts, going to have on my hat, going to have on my shoes. When I go play pickleball, Evan, it's the same darn thing, right? You get to the pickleball court, you got the shirts, got their shorts, you got the shoes, right? Everybody's got their, their paddle or 5 paddles or however many paddles they got out there. You got to have the hat and things like that, because it's part of that. It's part of that mindset. And in a sport like pickleball or golf, because I always parallel the two, where you do have the advent of the weekend warrior mentality. I'm going to get out there, my time to shine, right? And it just helps with the whole deal. And so I appreciate, props to your wife. Let's give her some props, right? Family affair here. And but I appreciate the way you said that. And I'd like to go back to some of the things that you said, because this is a competitive space that you're in. To your point, you recognize from that entrepreneurial vision that, hey, there's going to be business popping into this thing because of this pickleball. And from all sides of it, what kind of drew you into this space that you are? I love the name Cheers, and I'll follow that up. I'm just throwing stuff at you here. Is when I look at my handle, my happy handle, folks, I got mine here on my Proton paddle, and I went with these are hula girls, right? These are hula dancers. Now, I don't know if the individual wraps have a name to them other than just maybe the color style, but I want you to talk about some of the inspiration behind the designs on the wraps, because they're neat. There's 4 of them right now, right? Or 5?
5, yeah.
And so was that, and following up to that, I mean, did that come out of your head? Was this from the family? Because it's pretty cool, and it lets you have a little bit of that pizzazz out there on the court. I got a little hula girls on there. It's fun.
Yeah. I'll use the golf analogy, right? You're not a professional golfer, I'm assuming.
Of course
I'm certainly not a professional golfer, but but more than any, let me just put it this way. You don't pay your bills by playing golf. That's not where you get your paycheck, most likely. Right? And same is true.
If that was the case, we wouldn't be talking here.
Yeah, I know. It would be a big paycheck. There's nothing in between for golf. It seems is like you're either lowly and paying for your caddy and, economy transportation, or, you're on top and flying private. That's right. But, with that mentality, right? One of the thing that I love most about golf, for instance, is just getting out on the course with 3 friends and spending time together and making some good shots and making even more bad shots. But it's sort of like that camaraderie and that fun of it, and that chase to improve and what have you. But I'm not expecting to be the club champion. I'm not expecting to be winning any prizes and so forth. And that's so true for pickleball as well.
Yes.
We all want to play as best as we can. We all want to get better. We want to win and so forth. But at the end of the day, and this like ties back to our tagline, and this is sort of answering your question, right? Our tagline is good games and great times.
Yeah.
Meaning this is like how I feel about it, and this is what I believe most people feel. When you leave the courts, maybe you remember how you did that day. Oh, I had won 5 and I lost 3, or whatever it is. But generally, it's like, did I have fun? Who did I run into? What like sort of laughs did we have? Like, was it a good day out there? Did I play good or did I play bad? What can I improve upon? And it's sort of that like lightheartedness piece of it that we sort of gravitated towards. Now, like that doesn't mean we don't take pickleball seriously when we're playing. That doesn't mean we don't really care a lot about our products and that they're high performing. But we just want we want it to be laid back. It's a lifestyle, and
Right.
we're not one dimensional. You play golf, I play golf. We all have other hobbies and things that we do with our time. So we really want this to reflect people's lifestyle as well.
No, I think you've done a good job. I got the website pulled up here. I think the website looks great. It's clean. We've got the hats. We've got the happy handles. One thing we're going to get here soon, which tugged at me, is this initiative you have down here at the bottom of the website. And I'm going to tease it. I'm going to toil it a little bit. The CheersX, the Thirst Project we have, folks. That's the big toiler here. We're going to come back to that in a minute because you're doing some great things helping people get water, right? I mean, and so I'll let you talk about it here in just a little bit. But let's go back to a little more of the father-son and some of that connection. Is you're in Minnesota today. Did you grow up in New York at all?
That is better. Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
I might have been a little far away from the microphone. That's okay. At any rate, I was asking you, you're in Minneapolis. Did you spend time growing up in New York?
I was very young. I lived there for my first 3 years, and we were in Connecticut for 3 years, and then Minneapolis or Minnesota, the balance.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to remember that a little bit to see if that pulls into any of your sports allegiances or not, if any of that New York just sticks, even though you just spent a little time there as a youngster, right? But but let's keep going. We're mentioning the competitive space. We've got handles. We've got hats. Where do we see us going? Are we going to kind of stay in this arena? Because you mentioned Lululemon, which might be, we're going to see any sort of a jogger type of thing, a 3/4 Cheers zip for when it gets cold out there in Minnesota or other parts of the country. Talk to me.
Yeah, that's the vision, right? Is to be all things apparel and accessories. But for us, it's important to like do what we do well. And so we don't want to rush into things. And anybody can go on Alibaba and buy a bunch of 3/4 zips,
Sure.
Right? That doesn't mean they're going to be high quality or consistent and so forth. So we really think if we do things right and we build the brand the right way, it takes a lot more effort and it's a lot more work, but it's the way to create a sustainable business that's not just sort of a flash in the pan with funny logos and decorations and things like that. So we're working, we're looking a little further forward. Look, it's probably a bigger risk, but like I said, we want to do things right. And so, we're trying to nail down the hats and the grips. And so, yeah, once we feel really confident with that and use that to help grow the brand, then we'll see what's next. We have some ideas, but nothing sort of on deck just yet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, eventually, right? No risk it, no biscuit. But I like where we're starting. I like where we're at. And
Yeah.
And let's go right back to another thing I saw on your podcast, which just I knew we were going to have a good time. You have in there, joining a movement, right? And back to the CheersX, the Thirst Project. I got to get that right. I want to have you talk about that. That's where I was just going to be like, go and just let you talk all about it. I used to always say on my show, I support your movement. And because everybody has a movement, it seems, but there was also a little, if you really think about it, podcast being the bathroom books of the new millennial, right? I mean, what are you doing in there? I mean, so I support that movement, and you can just you
Yeah,
got your phone with you. You know,
that's
who's on your
hilarious.
phone? Me. I mean, so it's all good.
Yeah,
But let's go
right.
back to the
Yeah.
CheersX This Thirst project. I think it's very cool when new
Mhm.
companies, businesses include part of their vision, which is to help others. We talk about this pickleball, fastest growing
Mhm.
sport, explode all over the world. This thing is exploding. I'm going to be talking to another guy from across the pond who just dropped a new paddle. And but to give back and to do something in that true entrepreneurial, selfless kind of part of the vision, I think is important. You mentioned how there's a lot of businesses popping
Mhm.
up. I hope they all do well. I hope they're sustainable. I hope the visions are met, even if maybe it's not the full dreamscape that we all have out there, especially when we step on the pickleball court or on the first tee, right? Because, I mean, in our heads, I might as well be playing against Ben Johns or going for the claret jug this weekend. And so please
Yeah.
go ahead and talk about this project. I'm going to shut up so you can go ahead and tell everybody about it because I think it's great.
Yeah. Look, especially as like a small business and a privately held business, so forth, we get to make decisions about um, our profit and how we grow and where we grow and why we grow and so forth. And we firmly believe that there's a place for profits and purpose. And you don't have to be a nonprofit um, to be able to do some good along the way. And so that's sort of our like vision for it. It's not anything more than that. We think this idea of when we all do well, we all do well. And so, we all sort of like lift each other up. And so, it feels like a little bit our responsibility, but we're more guided by our heart and our gut on these things. That we should leave this world a little bit better place than we found it. And there's a lot of people out there, not just overseas and so forth, but for sure locally that are struggling. And so let's try to lift each other up and let's sort of create this movement, to use your term, right? Let's create this movement and let's really lean into the community.
And there we have. I pulled it right back up here as we're talking about it. One hat sold 1 year of clean water, right? Creating a positive impact one hat
Mhm.
at a time, right? Just one hat, and getting clean water to vulnerable communities. And folks, we know we are fortunate regardless, and we're not going to spoke out into anything in a political landscape, but you got to remember how fortunate you are to live where you do, and that you can have water just about whenever you want it. And for a lot of places, it's just not the case. So, cheers to you. I did it. Cheers to
Yeah.
you. It just came so naturally. And this project that you have.
Yeah, yeah. It was like sort of a no brainer. I was putting this idea for the business together, and wanting to do some good along the way, and sort of searching for a partner. When I came across the Thirst Project, it immediately clicked. I was fortunate enough to take a bit of a career sabbatical a number of years back and spent some time in Southern Africa,
Oh wow.
um, and was, I don't know, a bit of a third party to a project in a really small community in Malawi, that benefited from some expats building a well in that community. And that really meant a lot and really enabled the people in that community and the surrounding communities to be able to care for their families better, to spend less time walking to and from the well and waiting for the water. Like, this was a multi-hour ordeal every day for so many people. But at any rate, I sort of saw it firsthand. And then when I came across this, I was like, oh, unbelievable opportunity. The fit was perfect, to partner with the Thirst Project. So they do really great things, and we want to be a small contributor to their success and the value and the help that they're bringing to these rural communities.
Awesome. No, I well said. Again, I think it's great. And folks, if you need a happy handle out there, maybe you just want a nice new hat, you're gonna help a little bit and help folks who need water. and it's a
Yeah.
fantastic initiative. So again, cheers to you. I think it's great. All right. Anything else maybe on the landscape upcoming that you can talk about for Cheers before we get into the speed up round here? Got some fun stuff. Now, full disclosure, originally Evan and I, like we mentioned, we're going to get together right around 4th of July. So I might have some 4th of July themed fun stuff, speed them up questions for you, but you'll be able to handle those. But anything else, Evan, from the Cheers side you'd like to get to before we just kind of dink it back and forth, speed it up, don't smash one on me, and we're going to have some fun.
Uh-huh. No, that's clever. No, I just really appreciate being here. I'm thankful for your time and thankful for the invite. And yeah, I love a little rally at the net.
Good deal. Good deal. All right. So I think I know you play golf. Will you take us back to the time you last competed in pickleball? It was an alumni high school tournament. You won it. It was your walk-off moment. Go ahead.
It really wasn't a big deal. It was like the first ever of this alumni thing. But I really love the sport of pickleball for the joy that it brings and in the community. And look, I'm competitive and I want to win, but I don't want pickleball to become a sport where I'm upset if I don't win. And I'm very, very competitive. At times, like I can turn that competitiveness on and off. And I want to keep that like hyper competitiveness turned off because that was the second tournament I played in. And especially in the first tournament that I played in, I could really sort of sense his like desire to win. And I had this feeling like if we don't win this tournament, I'm going to be upset. And I don't want to be that, person. Like that's not why I personally play pickleball. And so, my tournament days are primarily over. I'm happy to, play sort of in a casual round robin tournament and things. But I don't know, the people in the sport just mean too much to me. And I love that community. And I don't want sort of the idea of winning and losing to take that away.
No, I mean, again, well said. And I love to play. Like I said, I'm going to play in some tournaments. I play to have fun. I get
Yeah.
that kind of mentality, like we want to win, and then I got to remember, hey, it's pickleball. You've seen it though. That's what fascinates me about the sport, and just like golf, right? You're gonna come tell me you got a 15 handicap when you're an 8, just so you can win the gift basket or the free shirt, and now we want to get a medal and do all this stuff and a golden ticket. Well, why don't you play at your ability and see if you're that good, right? Don't go dump your duper so you can play in a 3-5 tournament to win the medal. But hey, we're people. We want to win. We definitely want to get those medals. So it's a lot of fun. What sports did you play growing up?
I did all the traditional sports, right? I started with t-ball and soccer, where it was like, that pack mentality, the little kids that are just like there's a dozen kids just all chasing the ball all over. So that was one of my sports. But yeah, it was soccer and baseball growing up. Eventually, I think moved into high school, and then it was more or less soccer was my primary sport. Did a little track and field, mostly for the social bit, just to be active and part of, like, again, in that sense, a different community.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was primarily soccer. Played a little bit of racket. Oh, gym class. This is like the formation of my love of pickleball was gym class in high school. Our teacher, and big shout out to Mr. Ryan. Nobody beat him. I mean, I think he worked there for 100 years. I don't think he ever lost a game of badminton. It might be exaggerating. I don't know if he, but I don't know if he ever lost. But man, there's a lot of similarities between pickleball and badminton. I just had so much fun playing it. Interestingly enough, and I'll come back to answering the question. This is a little tangent, but
you're good. This
is maybe like 8 years ago. Yeah, I said this to my then girlfriend, now wife, that I needed an athletic hobby, and I started looking into badminton, and I was like this close to going out to what would be considered open play for badminton. I didn't pull the trigger. Yeah. But I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't make it. Whatever. Life got in the way. Came up with excuses, like we do. And then, I don't know, 5 years later, pickleball emerged. And so it's, I'm certainly like scratching that itch. like dating back to my love of badminton and never being able to beat our high school gym teacher. Anyways, in terms of sort of like organized sports, though, that was it primarily. I love to get out on the mountains as well. I'm a big snowboarder,
Cool.
and recently resumed skiing. It's a little bit easier to help little kids get up on skis and so forth if you're also on skis. So do a little bit of skiing and some snowboarding as well.
You can't go back to two planking once you've been knuckle dragging, but if it's to help the kids, I guess that's okay.
Well, if you're the kind of athlete that I am, the transition's really easy.
I guess so. When you're multifaceted, I mean, just an all-around jock like Evan is, then I mean, it's just no problem.
I'm teasing. My skis were primarily spent on the Bunny Hill this year.
Nice. So, growing up, baseball, soccer, did you watch the Euro or Copa over the weekend?
I did, yeah. I didn't have much of a chance to watch a lot of matches leading up to it. Kind of kept my eye on what was going on. My business partner, my dad, is a massive soccer fan.
Okay.
Of all different levels. We have a local professional team here, the Minnesota Loons. He's like an avid supporter there. So I kind of just was, in the loop from him. And then I got to watch some soccer over the weekend. We kind of were, in and out of the house all weekend, and so just kind of have the TV on in the background. So whether it's Wimbledon or Formula One, both of those, can be nice because they start early, and then you transition into, like more like centrally local, like, I don't know, local time zone sports in the afternoon and evening.
Yeah.
And sports is kind of just always on. Love soccer though.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I love the halftime of the Copa America. That was Shakira, and that was great. And so, I mean, the game was okay.
Yeah, she's timeless. She's so great.
Yeah, she still just kills it. I think from a soccer standpoint, the Spain-England game was a little better out there on the pitch. Hey, but I mean, and I talk about it all the time, from a casual sports viewer, I mean, I'm a sports guy. If I can throw on a soccer game because there's nothing ever like I really want to watch instead, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pay attention. I can do other stuff. It's on for 90 minutes. And if you hear the announcer start to get animated, you go look and see what's happening. I mean, we got a corner kick or somebody's making a run. But no, that's great. So coming up now, did you watch any MLP? Are you an MLP?
A little bit. It can be a little trickier. Getting it on the TV, on the wall and so forth. But again, I'm a pickleball. I'm a sports guy. I love reading the sports paper and just keeping up with the happenings and so forth. Am I an avid sort of MLP fan? No, not really. But I love watching competition. Like, I love watching the highest level of competition at any sport. So perfect example, right? I think everybody falls into this trap. We have the Summer Olympics approaching.
Yeah, there's your badminton
in 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. And we're all going to be watching water polo. Like, when was the last time you watched water polo?
Never.
Well, probably 4 years ago when it was on TV, on a Saturday at 4:30 p.m.
Well, the one thing that I'm looking for is when it's a Summer Olympics. I'm a winner over the summer. I like the track events. I like the gymnastics, right? I'm trying to figure out when's the 200 and 400 sprint so I can see, our guy, if he's going to pull it off. Apparently he can win gold in 200 and 400. I want to see if our relay team can pass the baton this time, for crying out loud. They're supposed to be really good. And so, I like the idea of the Olympics going to be starting pretty soon. I'll tell you, if you can find MLP and some of this pickleball, it's great to watch. The team event, I think, is where the casual fan, they're going to need eyes on the streams and screens from a overall big picture, pickleball being a sport and continuing to get revenue, right? And I think it's this MLP that'll do it, because you've got the best players playing together in a team format. You see people playing together that don't play together all the time on tour. They're talking trash, right? They're staring each other down. It's a lot of fun. Fun.
Well, I was initially, as we were having this conversation, thinking, that's what makes the Ryder Cup so special.
Right.
It's the USA versus Europe, right? And people, like, it gives you something to cheer for versus an individual. And then I get to that part in my thought there. And then I thought, well, Wimbledon was just on. And, and we maybe all had favorites and who was going to, win the men's or they call it gentlemen's
The
final.
gentleman's singles, correct?
And, so yeah. So, there's probably an argument to be made for the teams versus individual, but I think generally speaking, people like having a team to support, because you can, like ground yourself in that, regardless if your star players leave. You kind of like always have your team.
Well, and I think for the longest time you mentioned, Wimbledon, tennis, the individual side of it. There's doubles in tennis, right? Most of us play doubles in pickleball. And so this MLP format, it's mainly all doubles. With tennis, you watch Wimbledon, the French, Australian, US Open upcoming, you start to see the individual talents, and you can still see that in pickleball. So I mean, it's a great point. Back to your baseball guy, you play baseball growing up. Are you a Twins fan, or does that New York stuff start to pull you back?
Yeah, I'm a Twins fan at heart. I've just been here too long. This is where I grew up. My parents are casual Yankees fans. My grandmother was a Mets fan.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like I call myself a Mets fan. Like there's just that. I just call myself a Mets fan for the nostalgia sake, and because I loved and respected my grandmother so much. But I don't know if I catch more than one or two Mets games a year.
How about Vikings games?
Yeah, just
look at that delay.
I'm a sucker for punishment. I think we're all glutton for punishment here in Minnesota. There's always like this thread to hang on to. Like this could be the year. This could be the guy. And it's just, the heartache is just never ending. A few years ago, at least here in Minneapolis, we get these fall days into October and even into November that are just these bluebird days. The air is crisp, but it's sunny out and it's really nice. And, I found myself sitting on the couch watching the Vikings lose probably. And I thought, this is so dumb. I'm going to start. We only have so many nice days left. I'm going outside and I'm going to play sports, and I'll catch the highlights later. I don't need to be stuck inside for these early season games that are of little value besides the win and loss, anyways.
How many wins this year? I asked you this before, so I want to see if you got an answer for me.
I don't know. I think we're a 6-win team this year.
All right.
It's hard to know. Like our quarterback situation is so unknown. So yeah, I think we're a 6-win team, maybe 500. I don't know if we're much better than that this year.
6, 7 sounds about right. Coming into, new quarterback. You got the receiver getting paid, just doing this Netflix special whenever they actually recorded that or whatever. I haven't watched any of it, but I know he's in that one. But we'll keep moving on. Last series you watched on what, I don't care if it was Netflix Prime, but the last series Evan watched, and was it just you? Do we have a family show?
Yeah, we're not very good at this. To be honest.
Well, you're a little busy.
Well, we tend to start shows and then peter off for one reason or another. So, for instance, this is my wife and I. And it's, for me, it's much more enjoyable to watch together than it is solo. But we were watching Yellowstone, and again, like wanting to watch it together, like some of the brutality just got to be a little too much for the wife, and so we nixed that one. But the one prior to that we thought was really fantastic was the morning show with Steve Carell. It was an all-star cast, but awesome. I just really recommend that show.
I just heard they're doing another season of that. That's the Reese Witherspoon, Jen Aniston, right? Oh. Steve Carell was in like the first season. I know that show. So the way I do my shows is I've got Plex, which I can get a lot of the shows that come out because I don't want to pay for Max and 17 different things, even though I look at my bill and I probably got a dozen different stupid things that I'm paying for. But I wanted to watch this morning show, and it was an Apple show, right? And I didn't have the Apple TV, and it finally landed out on something I could watch it on, and it pulled me right in, first 2 seasons right away. And then I kind of peered it off of it because then I found myself in another direction with I'll do that. All of a sudden, I'm like 7 episodes in to the first season of one show. There's 3 seasons. Now I'm on to something else. But I don't know. It's just how it is, because if I get the time and I'm in that TV mode, I'll just sit down and do it. I'll just sit down and binge there for a minute. It's like, all right, I got it. Now I can move on. And it might be a crazy time at night too. We're talking like, my time would be in the morning for most people. So, who cares? We'll keep moving on. back to the 4th of July theme. Who mans the grill? You or Dad?
Ooh, we generally go to my sister's house because they live on a lake. And so the kids can run around and splash in the water. So on the 4th of July, it's either my brother-in-law or my dad. It just depends on, we're playing a little zone defense with all the kids there.
Right.
So it just sort of, who hasn't manned up against somebody at the moment. But 4th of July, it's not me. Shout out to my brother-in-law or my dad, one of those two.
Is it charcoal, pellet? What are we using?
Nah, he's a straight gas guy.
Gas guy. All right. Burgers and dogs?
And let me share this, though. Yeah. Well, we got the kids, so you got to have the chicken.
Okay.
I think we did chicken and brats and dogs. But here at the Tepper household, we have four or five different types of grills. So we have the Weber gas grill. We have the Traeger smoker.
Okay.
We have a little pizza oven, the Bertolli. What else do we have? So let's see. And then we have this one. So my wife grew up on a farm, right? They're very handy. And her uncle is like the town welder, if you will, right? If something breaks, they call him kind of guy.
Okay.
But he built this amazing grill. We call it like the flip-flop. It's like this flip-flop grill. So you put everything between these two grates.
Okay.
And you close it. And then it goes over the coals. And then like every so often you flip it. It's awesome. And it's the best for big parties because you can fit, you could fit 100 pieces of chicken, chicken wings on there.
Wow. Okay. So, we got some skills out there at the Tepper household when it's coming to throwing some BBQ around. How
we get it done. No. There's like, this isn't Franklin barbecue. I'll leave that to my other brother-in-law. I'm here just to get food in people's mouths and make sure everybody's stomach is full.
Fair enough. So you're out there playing D. You got the zone D going. You're passing out plates, throwing chicken, throwing chicken at kids. They're catching it with their mouth and things like that. That's awesome.
This is just how we roll. I would like to say that we're more organized and things are calm, but I don't know. It's just the way we roll is a little all over the place these days. We're scrambling. We don't have enough men at the line of scrimmage. We've got a guy running in last second.
That's right.
To go get more propane. Somebody needs to pick up the veggies and dip on the way. Just our life right now.
Right. Somebody's still wrapping the paddle as they're running onto the court, for crying out loud. Last minute adjustments everywhere. It's so.
Well, as long as they're using their happy handle grip as they're running out onto the court,
then that's fine.
We're happy for them.
It's perfect. That's the only way to do it. And so with the two young girls, what are their ages again?
2 and 4.
2 and 4. So do we see some Pickle in their future, maybe? Am I going to be seeing them on the TV?
We'll see. I mentioned previously that my wife grew up on a farm, and so organized sports were for city kids.
Oh, that's right.
Is sort of the household rule at her place. So, we're not clear yet sort of what athletic potential my wife is bringing to the table. I'm an average to slightly above average athlete. So, we're sort of saving money for college. We're not looking forward, we're not relying on a D1 athletic scholarship in our future.
No, never rely on that. Do the right thing, right? Start planning for the future. But it is a summer Olympic year. Maybe she's an equestrian, girl. Maybe she wants to get up there, one of them, and jump off of that platform and flip and spin and twirl into the pool or something fun. Gymnastics, you never know. But I think pickleball, get a paddle in their hands. I want to see some Teppers out there. They could play together. Dynamic duo you got right there. What's your favorite music?
I'm happy to support whatever
they want to do. That's right.
Go ahead.
I was going to say
I'm happy to support whatever they want to do.
What's your music? What gets you going?
Ooh, it's summertime, man. Summertime in Minnesota is country music.
Okay.
Love country music. Last concert I was at was Morgan Wallen. We scored some last minute amazing seats. They weren't even seats. We were in the pit right next to the stage.
Wow.
And man, he's going to be if he's not already, he's a superstar.
Okay. So if summertime in Minnesota's country music, when does the polka kick in? As the snow starts to fall, or I mean, does that come around?
Yeah, that comes around like Oktoberfest when we're head back to Wisconsin.
Too good, too good. Jello or pudding?
Yeah, yeah. Pudding,
What flavor?
chocolate all day. I'm a chocolate guy.
Cake or pie?
Pie. I'm not a big frosting guy. I love my sweets, but I don't do too much frosting.
So for a pie, guys, it blueberry, apple. What would be the go-to pie for Evan Tepper if you close your eyes and said this is the pie?
Well, we didn't grow up a big pie family. It's kind of a new thing for me.
Wife
but my
grew up on a
mother-in-law
farm.
brings rhubarb. Yeah, so rhubarb, right? So
Yeah.
we do rhubarb pie from time to time, and we always sort of like two get made and one gets eaten, sort of like at that meal or following that meal. And then there's sort of this extra one that tends to just like have a spoon hanging out in the
Sits on the
pie
counter.
dish.
Yeah.
And when I get a break, yeah, and then well, not on the so whenever I get a break, like whether it's yeah, anyways, you know where I'm going with this. Whenever there's an opportunity,
Whenever
and I don't
you
feel
walk
too
by.
guilty, I'm taking a spoonful of that. Yeah.
It seems you find a way to walk through that area of the kitchen more often when the pie's out there. I get it. I know exactly. I'm picking up what you're laying down. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Marvel or DC?
You got it. Honestly, between us and the I'm not really
And the
a
millions
Marvel
listening?
or DC guy. It's not that I don't like. Yeah, well, it's not that I don't like either or both of them.
Okay.
I just never got the hooks into me.
All right.
For either of them.
Okay. What about Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Good answer. Good call. Good call. Favorite Star Wars movie?
Ooh, I don't know.
All right.
Return of the Jedi, maybe.
Hey, good pull. That's a good pull. I went and saw Jedi. My dad is career naval officer, and so Jedi came out around 85 whenever it did. We had just moved over to Italy, and so I went to a movie theater, in Italy to see Jedi. I had to see Jedi. I mean, great movie. I'm building Lego R2D2 right now, and he's got a lightsaber that pops out of his head. It's going to be cool.
Oh.
Yeah. What would your dream car be?
Right now, man, that's such a good question, because you immediately want to go to a sports car, right? You're thinking Ferrari, Testarossa, or Lamborghini or something. But I think it would just be so much fun to have a Jeep for the summer times here.
Okay.
Top off, maybe the doors off, good sound system, a little bit of a rough ride.
Yeah.
But bringing the girls back and forth to daycare and running errands and that thing in the summer on these perfect days, I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you got, like you said, top downs, doors off in the Jeep, taking the girls to their dressage lessons on the horses and stuff like that. Oh, absolutely, man. How about?
Yeah, not a bougie Jeep though.
No.
I think if we were to be doing these equestrian lessons,
the Jeep's all country. Jeep's all country. They got to put on all that bougie stuff to do the equestrian and the dressage. They're coming there full board. They know Tepper girls are coming. But then they've got the softer side to go and win all their, horse awards. That's fine. Dream destination for...
Yeah, we like to break the mold.
That's right. Yeah. Dream destination.
Say that one more time. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no problem. Dream destination where you'd like to go.
Somewhere in French Polynesia. Yeah, somewhere French Polynesia.
Okay. Interesting. Now, I like to do this. Now, I know you've retired from any competitive pickleball. So this would be, just a rec fun game right up your alley. So I like to take the old, who would you have to dinner, and take, who would you have on the court? So you've got yourself 3 people on the court with you. Could be anybody, actors, whatever.
Yeah. I think I'm going, I think Tyson McGuffin he seems like a cool guy. And I want to learn. So that's who we're bringing as the professional pickleball player.
Love it.
We can get better. And again, he seems like a cool guy. Yeah. On the other side of the court, we're going Snoop Dogg.
Awesome.
And I'm torn here. I'm going to go Will Ferrell.
I don't think you can go wrong right there. I don't think you can go wrong with that foursome. That's one of the best ones I've heard so far. So we've got Snoop, Will Ferrell, and Tyson McGuffin to teach everybody a little pickle and keep the pickle going good. Let me tell you, there's gonna be beers being had. There's going to be some other stuff happening. My son bought my brother the Snoop Dogg cookbook, the Doggy style cookbook. There's plenty of good recipes you can make in there. I mean, Martha Stewart approved the whole deal. Throw out there on the grill. I want to come to this event whenever we put it together. So that, I mean, that would be pretty cool. Evan Tepper.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. So we've got Tyson on the lessons. We've got Snoop keeping the vibes chill, and we got Will Ferrell keeping us rolling on the floor.
Just doing everything he does. I mean, he was in that horrible TV Pickle, whatever they did with some celebrities or whatnot that Colbert called or something. And now, I mean, back to the Pickle outfit, right? And what are you coming to what's Snoop rocking to the court? I mean, guy's gonna be totally dialed in.
Oh, Snoop is for sure a basketball shorts and jersey guy. He's got like the old school big baggy shorts, and he's probably rocking. He's an LA guy. But he's still old school. He's either rocking a Jordan jersey or a Kobe jersey. And he's probably got some high tops on.
I mean, I've seen pictures of how
Will Ferrell's going to show up with like short.
Oh yeah, Will Ferrell's coming semi-pro style, right? The short shorts, headband, wristbands,
headband. Yeah.
The whole deal. I've seen pictures of how Snoop takes care of his kids, like Pop Warner team. He's one of those guys that does like big into the Pop Warner football and the little kids football. So he's gonna be coming. You know, he'll probably have uniforms for all you guys. You guys all be matching by the time it's over. Is what's going to happen.
He's going to be coming with lots of gifts. I think it's going to be a variety pack, but man's got style. He's like, he's got staying power. He knows what's up. So we're going to follow his lead.
That's right. You got to follow that lead. Make sure you're always continuing to diversify. Evan Tepper, join me on the court. Pickle with Mickle interview series. Evan, I've had a blast. I hope you have too. As I get you off the court here, any last things from the Cheers family that you want to plug? Anything just in general? You want to give a shout out to your wife or your dad? Maybe your two daughters? Go ahead.
Well, I'll give a shout out to my dad. He's like, he does a lot of the thankless work, and, we grind each other's gears, but and he doesn't have to be doing this. And so big shout out to him as we're sitting here, and I've got my watch on, is vibrating, and he's asking me questions and so forth. So, I still got to answer to the man.
That's right. Who wins on the pickleball court, you or dad?
Me.
All right.
He wins on the ping pong table. I win on the pickleball court.
Fair enough. Evan Tepper joining me. Cheers Pickleball. Evan, thank you so much.
Hey, I appreciate the invite. I've had a really good time. This is a fantastic way to start my day.
Evan, it's a pickle-tastic way to start the day. Go to CheersPickleball.net and get some happy handles. The hats are great and help a great cause. Because you can help folks stay hydrated. Stay safe out there. I'll see y'all next time right here for more